Okay, I'm going to give my quick post-fight thoughts on George Kambosos versus Jay Wyllie. This is probably Kambosos' first legit win since he beat Teofimo Lopez. I know some people dispute that result. It was very competitive. It was very close. I really had no problem with Kambosos getting the nod that night. I thought Teofimo Lopez was absolute. That was the worst I've ever seen him. He looked horrendous that night. Following on from that, he fought Devin Haney twice, lost both those fights fairly comprehensively. The Devin Haney, they were not compelling viewing to say the least, but yeah, lost them fairly comprehensively. And then he fought Maxi Hughes. I can't remember if that was in America or Australia. It was in one or the other, but it was on a Top Rank show as far as I believe. I think it was on top Rank anyway. And basically, I felt that Maxi Hughes was, I don't like to use the R word. I don't like to use it because it gets chucked around an awful lot in this sport. It really does. A 115, 113 fight either way, and it doesn't go the way that you perceive it. People are saying robbery. It's not a robbery. I felt that Maxi Hughes, there was no 115, 113. I felt that he was a clear winner against George Kambosos. He got the nod. And then obviously he was stopped by Loma last year in what was a very impressive performance by Lomachenko. Really was. I mean, Devin Haney couldn't do that. Teofimo Lopez couldn't do it. Loma is still, in my opinion, one of the best around. He really is. Loma is tremendous. He really is. He'll be a loss to the sport when he does retire. He may already be going down that road anyway. But he goes in here, and you got to bear in mind that Jake Wyllie took this fight. He got the call on Sunday to step in. This is his first fight at 140, George Kambosos Jr. I'm watching him tonight or today, this morning. It's, what time is it in London? It's 12:15 in the morning. 12:15 in the morning, or afternoon, really. Watching Kambosos in there, I'm like, is this really the same guy that I seen fighting Lee Selby all those years ago on the undercard of Usyk versus Chisora? Is this really the same Kambosos that I saw against Teofimo Lopez look really good? Yeah, he got dropped in the fight, but he looked really good. Dropped Teofimo Lopez as well. Kambosos in this fight, he looked the smaller of the two. It had to be said. He is coming up in weight, and he doesn't look like he's a naturally big 140 pounder just from the eye test. Hand speed looked pretty good in there for Kambosos Jr. It really did early on. You know, and I caught this fight, I was out for a little bit, so I only caught this fight after round number 4. But early on in those rounds, he was looking sharp, the hand speed was on point, he was landing a plenty on Jake Wyllie, but he never appeared to have him in any sort of trouble. Now, Kambosos is not a noted puncher, to say the least. He did drop Teofimo Lopez, we all remember that, with a good right hand, it has to be said. But he's not someone you would associate with having really destructive power or anything like that. It certainly showed in this fight. Because out of the two, the one who I felt was, I'm not going to say hurt necessarily, but was more stunned, for want of a better word, was George Kambosos. Now, before I carry on talking about the fight, I will say that the commentary team, the DAZN commentary team, I don't know who they were. I would assume they were all Australian. That's certainly how it sounded. Boy, were they pro Kambosos. I mean, they really were. Going into the 12th round, one of the guys whose unofficial scorecard it was, said he only gave Jack Wyllie one round, and that was the 9th round. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Really? Yeah, it was a Kambosos win, clearly. But like, to say that it was a one round, you give him one round, get that out of here. No. As the rounds progressed, Kambosos did appear to slow down a little bit. He was a bit more stationary. The heads were coming together an awful lot in this fight, it has to be said. It was very reckless from both guys in terms of the head clashes. Really was, really bad. But while he started landing a lot more on Kambosos, he started bringing the straight lead right hand into it. Kambosos really, defensive-wise, he just seemed to be a sitting duck at times. And were it not for the fact that it doesn't appear Jake Wyllie really has that kind of punching power, I'd be looking at it. If he had Teofimo Lopez punching power, we'll say, and at 140 Lopez's power is kind of how is it? Is it really that good? I think if he had 140 pound Teofimo Lopez power, Kambosos would be in a world of trouble. I really do, because honestly, he was getting lit up at times in there, George Kambosos Jr. He was also given as good as he got, it has to be said. But he never, like, again, the amount of left hooks, the amount of body shots, the amount of right hands and uppercuts that he landed on Jack Wyllie, and he never appeared to really do any damage. I mean, his face didn't appear, Jack Wylie's at the end, or Jake Wyllie, sorry, didn't appear to really be marked up at all or anything. At round number 9, there was a big clash of heads, and it did open quite a bad cut on George Kambosos. And in that round in particular, he really started to go through the gears and actually try and look to get the finish in. Didn't happen, and he was able to see it out. The corner men in Kambosos' corner did a marvellous job on really keeping the cut at bay, because it was bleeding quite profusely around number 9, it really was. So he'll need some time off after that. That cut's going to take a little bit of time to recover. Honestly, the talking point of this fight is Jake Wyllie, because he looked, I mean, again, he was meant to be fighting on the Tim Tszyu undercard coming up in April. Still a bit away, and to be moved forward, take this fight on 6 days' notice, looked all right in there. He really did. So I'd be interested to see what this guy can do moving forward. As for George Kambosos, again, I can't believe that he beat Teofimo Lopez. I know that was the worst Teofimo Lopez I think we've ever seen. But goddamn, I mean, like, I don't want to sound rude or disrespectful to Kambosos. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. He comes across as that. But damn, I mean, that is like your Buster Douglas moment of the 2020s. If you think about it, it really is. And I don't mean to sound rude with that, but I can't see this guy coming close to winning another world title. I really can't. I look at that and I just think, like, God almighty, the stars really did all align. And I know Teofimo Lopez had personal issues. He had health issues in the fight, serious health issues as well. So that, and he had his dad being an absolute, you-know-what, just giving him the worst instructions you could give, just knock him out. Oh, if it was that easy, everyone would do it, wouldn't they? So, you have to take all that into consideration. But goddamn, I mean, I haven't been impressed with George Kambosos in a long time. I actually thought he looked quite good against Lee Selby. I only seen highlights of was Mickey Bay, I think he fought before then. But I watched the Lee Selby fight live, and I was absolutely baffled as to how one-sided Andy Lee had that fight in favour of Lee Selby. He thought Lee Selby was dumb. I was like, hey, what are you watching, mate? Kambosos looked good in that night. He looked good in that fight against Lee Selby. He looked good against Teofimo Lopez. And since then, nothing. Like, Devin Haney is a great fighter. We know that. Maxie Hughes, I'm not going to sound... Maxie Hughes is a world level fighter, and some people say, oh, he's domestic. I mean, he's better than domestic. He's much better than European and domestic. But, you would think someone who could, go in there and do that to Teofimo Lopez should be dealing with Maxie Hughes. When you see what Williams Zepeda did, Maxie Hughes schooled him, I thought. And then obviously Loma, a legend. We know that Loma is something special. And now this, I mean, like, again, he won it soundly, but that was not a performance for me that is going to have me saying, all right, 140, take note. He's put the 140 pound division on notice. He didn't, in my opinion. Certainly not. So let me know your thoughts. Kambosos returns to winning ways in Australia. I have to go and have a look at it because it's very interesting. Tiana Brown, I believe her name is. I was calling her Tiana Brown or something like that, but I have seen her a few times. I've seen a few clips of her upset Sky Nicholson. Now, I really got to go and watch that because, to be honest with you, going into this fight week, me and Ade spoke about this on AMG, man. That's really the kind of fight that was kind of on the forefront of people's minds. So I will have to go. I haven't seen much of Sky Nicholson in the ring, so I'll have to go and have a look at that because that sounded interesting. I've seen a lot of people say that they felt Sky Nicholson deserved to win. And the Australian judge, interestingly, because I heard Eddie Hearn say it, was the one who scored it quite widely in favour of Brown. So let's have a look-see at that. That's going to be interesting to see. I imagine Sky Nicholson is absolutely fuming, especially if you consider the fact that a lot of people had her winning. So let's have a look-see. Let's have a look-see and see. I'll talk about that tomorrow on Review of the Week. I'll probably do a live tomorrow as well, so we'll talk a bit about it then as well. But for now, I will leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button. I have some more coming out today. Stay tuned for that. And until next time, peace.